Uh-huh. Okay, welcome gamers. Welcome to my gaming video. Game theory, as they say. This is gonna have great big spoilers for mouthwashing, so I don't know, go watch a let's play of it, go play it yourself. But this video is going to be about my favorite character, SWANSEA, or Swansea, or SWANSEA. I don't fucking... So, I've been sort of engaged with the mouthwashing fandom, you know. I haven't posted anything related to it myself, but I've consumed quite a bit of fan art and such. And one thing I've noticed, one thing that has bothered my little nerd brain, is that a lot of the fandom acts like if SWANSEA knew about Anya's abuse, he would just blast Jimbo into the Shadow Realm. But I do not think that is true. Why is the worst video? When I go on TikTok, why is he throwing it back? If you don't know what mouthwashing is, this probably sounds like complete gibberish. Anyway, it is implied that SWANSEA did in fact know what Slim Jim had done.
What are you guys doing? No, I understand completely. That's how it has to be. Oh, it's you. Jimmy, not able to sleep either? It's nighttime. Why are you talking this late? Anya, are you crying? No, don't worry. I'm okay. You all need to keep it together. Oh, I'm keeping it the fuck together.
So they are conversing in the cockpit, and Jimbo comes in and sort of interrupts it. And what I think they were talking about is Anya telling SWANSEA what's going on, and SWANSEA telling Anya about the cryopod. I think that's what they were conversing about. That would make the most sense, especially considering SWANSEA's reaction to Jimbo's words. I mean, that's pretty threatening, is it not? But let's see. If my interpretation is true, and SWANSEA did in fact know, why didn't he do anything? Well, I think the way a lot of people just default into kill Jimbo mode is understandable, you know? But it's not very logical. So let's think about it now. If SWANSEA knew about Jimmy's actions, why didn't he beat his sorry ass? Now, let's look at this situation from two different lenses. First, what if SWANSEA knew before the crash? And second, what if he only knew after the crash? Even if he knew about the abuse before the crash, I doubt he would have resorted to violence like that, because it would have been a dumb idea. You know, the crew is literally stuck in space with nowhere else to go. Everything SWANSEA does will be noticed by the others. And if he did assault, or even kill Jimmy, he'd be prosecuted for it back on Earth, not to mention the pay he'd lose. So, killing Jimmy would basically end his life. And also, if Jimster survived his attack, you bet he'd start acting even worse than he already does. Because it is established that Jimmy is a violent, dangerous person. He literally beats up Curly, a defenseless, disabled man who he himself personally turned disabled. So, if SWANSEA did violently attack Jimmy and was stopped before, you know, finishing the job, Jimmy would most likely end up taking his frustrations out on the other crewmates. You know, Anya. Anyway, so let's look at the second situation where prosecution is not an issue. You know, post-crash. Okay, so let's say Anya only told him after the crash. So, I'd say my previous points apply here too. Because for the 4 months the crew spent together, there was some hope that they'd be saved, you know, a little glimmer of hope, you know. And acting nice was the logical thing for SWANSEA to do, especially when handling a volatile individual like Jim Peanut Butter. Speaking of, if the theory about Jim being a convict is true, then SWANSEA might endanger himself by attacking the man, because we don't know about Jim's past, and I doubt the others do too, except for Curly, but he's not gonna do much. So attacking him would, in any case, just not be a very effective way of handling the situation. But, actually, in the end, SWANSEA did attack Jimbo. At least that's my interpretation. I see it in a way where, after everyone else was dead, the two got into like an actual physical altercation. It's difficult to make out because it's so like trippy, you know. Jimbo is going crazy, but I think SWANSEA did attack him and try to kill him. Jimbo managed to knock him out. He's clearly got experience making others unconscious, and tie him up, and you know. So in the end, he did confront him physically, but it didn't end well for him. That's all I have to say, honestly. So yeah, I don't think SWANSEA is this heroic man. He's not like a perfect father figure or anything, but he's not a villain either. I think it's just that he's this guy, and he hasn't really had experiences with situations like these, so he doesn't really know what to do. You know, if the crew actually wanted to make Anya's living safer, then it would have been Curly's responsibility, you know. He's the captain. Anyway, I love you, SWANSEA. I love you guys. Goodbye.